It has been almost 3 months since, well, not since the last monster balancing patch, since the patch notes were released. It's been almost 3 months. I think it was December 16th when the notes were released. So December to January, January to February, February to March. So it's been almost 3 months. I feel like it's not a bad idea to start talking about monsters that could use buffs in the next balance patch. Of course, it's not coming out next week or anything. Watch, it comes out next week, lils. No. It's basically, if you guys don't know what ComToUs is, and I've talked to ComToUs about this, and they said this is what we're doing for balance patches. That they are looking to always do balance patches in between seasons, unless for some reason something can't happen in between, like they need to push it back or forward or something like that. But they're always trying to make sure that they do balance patches in between seasons so it doesn't mess up the RTA seasons, I mean. So anyway, that's the schedule for the monster balancing patch. It's not the end of RTA season yet anyway. But when it is, start thinking about the balance patches, right? When they say like, oh, RTA season's gonna end in, now you're like, okay, balance patch. But we really haven't had too much of a public outcry for monster balancing patch. Bagel, you're long-winded, you know that, right? Yes, I know. We haven't seen too much of a public outcry for monster balancing patch since the last one, because the last one was so good. The stuff that we wanted to get nerfed got nerfed. The stuff that we wanted to get buffed got buffed. And we're like, what do we complain about now? Still Daphnis. That's the answer. Still Daphnis. And no surprise, it's a spoiler alert that I had to, because we all know that we all want Daphnis. If you have Daphnis, you want him. You're like, please. Buff Daphnis. I know I can use him against TOA hard bosses, but please give me a second place to use Daphnis. For the love of God. I know someone's gonna disagree with me in the comments. Damn it. But anyway, no, it's totally fine to disagree with me in the comments if you feel like that I'm missing the point or something like that. Because I know some people like to use Daphnis and other things. But regardless of Daphnis, let me know what you think in the comments. Let me know if you agree with me. Let me know if you disagree with me. I know some people are going to agree. Some people are going to disagree. But anyway, these are 10 monsters that I think could use buffs in 2019. Whether it's a small tweak or if it's a kind of bigger rework. These are the ones that I was kind of going through today. And I was like, really, what does need buffs? What would I like to see buffed? What would I like? I didn't really pick any that need to be nerfed or anything, but these are just my opinions on things that need to be buffed. Okay, so number one, and also I have 6 accounts. I played with a lot of these monsters myself, and I know like what's good where and etc. All I do is play the damn game all day. Anyway, number one, Abellio. Abellio. Actually, on paper, he looks really good. But here's a couple things with Abellio. Why? Why does he need to be buffed? Heal is okay. Skill 3 heal. Skill 1 is okay. Skill 2 does very little DPS. I think that's the lackluster thing, is like a lot of people were disappointed with the DPS from Skill 2. I played with Robin's when she got hers. I got one on Europe server as well. I was playing around just recently. He's the newest 6-star on the Europe server account. And I feel like the same thing. This is the one where I have the Light Druid and the Water Druid now. The Light Druid pretty recent too. But I feel like, I mean, the Light Druid should be better. But anyway, Skill 2 does not enough DPS, and Skill 3 low provoke chance. That's one of the bummers about like all the provoke druids, the water, the fire, and the light. I feel like the provoke chance is a little bit low. Because it's like, hey, why even have a debuff if it doesn't happen? Over and over and over. Like, you can rely on it not happening. So you can rely on it basically doing nothing. And then occasionally it's like, oh, that happened. I forgot that skill did that. But the damage that he does damage based on defense, which it pales in comparison to the Water Giant Warrior. The Water Giant Warrior seems to be doing more damage to him. More damage. And the damage also scaling based on defense, but I was playing around with him. I was playing around with the Water Giant Warrior. I'm like, I'd rather have Water Giant Warrior as a defense-based water unit, right? So, I mean, Water Giant Warrior does not heal, but he still strips in defense base, which is also really good, right? So my suggestions for Abellio, possibly just increase the damage multiplier for skill 2, which ComToUs does this already. Like, they'll release something, and they'll a couple balance patches later. They did this with the unicorns and stuff like that. They increased the damage multiplier. It's not a big thing, it's just a little tweaks. And provoke activation rate for skill 3. I feel like these are probably pretty likely that we see something like this. It's not completely out of the ordinary. It's like, oh, he's asking for the world. No, really, it'd be nice to see an extra provoke chance and increased damage multiplier, because he heals based on the damage he does for skill 2. So I feel like him doing more damage, healing more, he'd be more viable. He'd be, I mean, I don't know if people are going to be using him all the time, but he's, skill 3 is not bad, though. I was using skill 3 is not bad. The skill 2, the provoke and the DPS, for skill 2 seem like the ones that need the work. Anyway, moving on to the next one, Water Chimera. I love the Water Chimera. Little Tay-Tay, if you ever hear me say Little Tay-Tay, because every time I say tower. Wait, do I say tower or... Some people say Tayor. I don't know. I just started calling him Little Tay-Tay because I was like, I don't even want to... Whatever you guys think it's called is what it's called. I'll just call him Little Tay-Tay so I don't offend anyone with the way. I'm from Florida, man. We call him Little Tower, alright? Anyway, so why do I think Little Tay-Tay needs a buff? Sigmar's buffed, right? Sigmar's was buffed a few patches back. He's better CC DPS. So Sigmar's, stun on skill 1, freeze on skill 2, AoE, damage based on enemy max HP, attack break, and freeze on skill 3. Little Tay-Tay, he's got a dot on skill 1 compared to Sigmar's stun. Sigmar's wins skill 1. He does... Water Chimera does more damage with skill 2, but Sigmar's does damage and freeze. Water Chimera does an AoE, freeze one target AoE slow. Sigmar's does AoE freeze and attack power break. I mean, it's just the same thing. Lagmaron, the same thing. Lagmaron does an AoE stun with the skill 2. And, I mean, if you just look at the Water Chimera versus Wind Chimera skill 3, Lagmaron was buffed, Water Chimera wasn't. Poseidon was buffed too, so Poseidon does AoE attack age reduction plus AoE slow. Tay-Tay does AoE slow and 1 freeze. Single target freeze versus AoE attack age reduction. So, they're both slow, but single target freeze versus AoE attack age reduction. It's just like, if you compare him to any of those, it's not like he's weaker. And also, if you compare him, like, if you're like, oh, well, he does big damage with skill 2, who else is going to do that? Susanoo does that as well. And Susanoo also has a dot skill 1, and Susanoo's skill 1 is based on speed as well. So, and also has a speed lead, which is nice. But yeah, I mean, it's not like Water Chimera is not usable. You can still use him, but where he used to shine in like Dragons B10, Giants B10, the Twins have just overtaken that, right? So there's so many areas where he's like, and the artwork is so cool on him. I really like the whole Chimera concept. It's just like, I want to put him into more things than really I should be. You know what I mean? So my suggestion, maybe add attack bar reduction or absorb to skill 3, because I mean he needs a little something. But I think attack gauge reduction or attack gauge absorb would be great. I think that might just be what he needs. Also something better than dots for. Oh yeah, Nat 5's in general. Why do we have these dots on the skill 1? Like the Chimeras, the Dragon Knights. Why are we doing like, we need something better than dots on these units, man. We need something better than dots. Anyway, moving on to... Oh, God. Okay. Why? Why do we need a damage? Because we've only wanted this forever since he's come out. He got... So basically, the last patch, he kind of got nerfed. Instead of skill 1 stripping, it's now skill 3, and it's on a cooldown. Same skill 1 and 2 as Samoth, but instead of a speed lead, which is one of the best leader skills in the game, especially for arena, the best arena leader skill in the game, not anything for anywhere else. And revive nuke, he nukes 1 unit while killing himself and has a pointless leader skill. No one's using his leader skill. Like, I don't know, there's like fighter 1 players using his leader skill. I get that, but aside from that, it's like, you can make him usable, yeah, and he's usable in TOA bosses, and you can use him in Dragons V10. I get that, but there's a lot of stuff that's usable in TOA. There's a lot of stuff that's usable in Dragons V10. Nat 5 should have some relevance for PvP. And I know you can use him in RT. You can try, like, people try to stick him into certain things, and they're like, I'm using him in, yeah, but if you had another thing, you'd be using that instead. So, it's just, he's still, I mean, the whole, no one that has Daphnis is like, you know what, I would be bummed out a bit. He would be too OP if he got a buff. Everyone's like, yeah, he could kind of use a buff. You could use him for stuff, but he's the weakest one. Suggestion, skill 3, splash damage, like Pungback. Like the skill 1 and skill 2 is whatever, right? Splash damage like Pungback, because Pungback got buffed and he's usable now. He's really nice now. Or not kill himself in the process of attacking at the very least, right? So, the splash damage would be cool to see, like a fire version of Pungback. I wouldn't mind that. I think someone else had that idea. I don't think it was my idea, though. So anyway, I think someone else a while ago said that. Moving on, please buff Daphnis 2019. Please buff Daphnis 2019. Moving on, Eladriel. Eladriel, I don't think people saw this coming, though. Eladriel, let's talk about why I think Eladriel needs buff. Fallen out of the meta. Skill 3 is a dead skill most of the time. It is. If you get turn 1, if your team gets turn 1, what are you going to do? Can't heal, can't revive, because no one's taking any damage, or you could skill 1. Okay. And I know Eladriel was in some defenses with Mo-Long Perna, but it wasn't because of the Mo-Long Perna. For Guild War defenses. It wasn't because of the Eladriel, it was because of the Mo-Long Perna. So it's just, he's, aside from Guild War defenses that he was in, and a lot of people that have switched to from that, especially now, that's been countered and Mo-Long has been nerfed. Also, that was switched to, a lot of people started using the Wind Druid if they have the Wind Druid instead. Suggestion, it's a Nat 5. It's a Nat 5. I feel like his skills, he should be able to use skill 3 even if things aren't dead, right? Skill 3 like Mermaid Revive. If nobody needs to be revived, something like defense buff, immunity, regen, soul protect. I also think that this might not have been my idea. I think this was possibly from Twitch chat or something like that. Someone had this idea as well. Not all my, not everything I have here might be mine. You know what I mean? But I just want to make that clear. If someone's like, "That was my idea, you douchebag," like it could have been your idea. Good job, good idea. If nobody needs to be buffed, yeah, why not a defense buff? I think someone's actual idea was defense buff, but immunity, even like not even as good as Veligil, right? If it was a 2-turn immunity but no cleanse, and only a 2-turn and not a 3-turn, right? Or like a regen, or I mean, it's kind of. They would probably do a soul protect and not the other ones. At least soul protect is better than nothing, but soul protect is not really that exciting, in my opinion. But at least it's something, right? It's just something is better than nothing. Just a little bit of something where it's like proactive instead of just a reactive unit. So I think it'd be cool with a defense buff. Like I would take a 2-turn defense buff and a little bit of a heal if he doesn't need to be revived. But like better, you can even use her second skill if nothing needs to be revived. Same with Fire Mermaid as well. So anyway, just my opinions on that one. Oh god, Wincana Girl. I don't know what she's supposed to be used for. Like, I mean, I know like, okay, well, you use her in something where she takes some damage and then she stacks and then she does burst damage. But it's like, come on, really? I mean, I know a lot of you don't understand what I'm talking about, but if you have the Wind Cannon Girl, you kind of agree with me. And if you don't have the Wind Cannon Girl, you're like, a lot of you might not know what I'm talking about. She doesn't make sense. She's weaker than Lucian on arena offense. There was no reason that you use her instead of Lucian. Not good for defense. Not RTA viable. Great at Giants. Slightly better than Orochi. So I guess there's that. She's slightly better than Orochi. But I mean, look at her skills compared to Orochi. She's similar to Orochi. She's a little bit better. Suggestion, figure out where she's for and build her skill 3 and passive for that. The skill 3 and passive, I think, should be reworked. And figure out, like, we shouldn't have a Nat 5 that's really good for Giants. Or even, like, we have twins now. We have Lucian. I mean, she's good for Giants. You could use other stuff for giants to probably get a faster time. Like, there's just why, or make her a 4-star. I mean, make her a 4-star. There's no reason she would need to be a Nat 5 though. Like, I don't even know why she's a Nat 5. I think someone was like, we don't have enough Nat 5s this patch. Make one of these a Nat 5. And they just said, eeny, meeny, miny, mo, let's make this one a Nat 5. Like, I just don't understand. Like, the water one, if anything, deserves to be the Nat 5. The water one's better than the wind one. It's just, I don't think that the devs, or if the devs do have an idea where she's supposed to be used, nobody in the community really understands it. Because I was even looking at the other people that are like talking about her. I'm like, everyone's like, Daphnis. She's okay. So Daphnis is not the worst one now. Got it. Anyway, Wind Monkey. They buffed the Water Monkey. They buffed the Light Monkey. So now the Wind Monkey is kind of the weaker monkey. I mean, he can still be used, but he's kind of like no one's really using him. Why? Barely used anymore. Fell out of the meta. Weakest monkey in the meta, especially with all the meta fire threats. Like, I'm talking about RTA, I mean. You really don't see him. Like, you see him every so often in arena defense, but really not too much, especially high level anymore. You used to see him like every so often though, but less than ever. And really for RTA, like, he's not really doing too much. I've seen BD use him a little bit, but he's kind of like a budget Artemil. Anyway, suggestion, Wind Cannon Girl passive being added to him makes more sense than a Wind Cannon Girl. That one was my idea, though. That one was my idea. I was looking at it, I'm like, you know, this does at least make more sense, right? So, if you attack other ones, other units, he can potentially get free hits in. So you're like, okay, let me attack the Wind Monkey first. And then he stacks himself because you're attacking him first. And charges himself up. And then does extra damage. The Wind Cannon Girl skill would be beautiful. It would make so much sense on him. Am I the only one? Let me know in the comments below. Am I crazy for thinking that the Wind Cannon Girl makes more sense on the Wind Monkey than on the Wind Cannon Girl? And she should just have a different passive or something. That's my thoughts. Oh, this girl. Oh, this girl. I have one of her. She can be usable. Especially, I mean, her leader skill, her Guild War leader skill is great for Guild Wars. Very, very, that just stacking a crazy amount of HP is kind of, it's kind of crazy. Cause like this, I've been in Guild Wars where we like kept hitting these bases of her and Molong and Kumar, and I was like, they all have violent proc, but they all had so much damn HP. It was like, how? You can't Lucian this, you can't bulldoze this, you can't just, it's taking them down to half HP. It's like, that's crazy. And then as soon as they start violent proc, it's like, GG. But yeah, her third skill is just a heal and a shield though. This is other stuff. Shield heal skill 3 outclassed by Wusa Bastard skill 3. Suggestion, add increase attack bar by percentage. Attack bar, increase attack bar. You know what I mean. Kind of like Bastard skill 3, kind of like Veligil skill 3. Just add an increase attack gauge. I think that could be a nice little buff for her. Does she need more than that? Is that too much? Does she not need a buff? Is she already crazy OP? Let me know. This girl, Ophelia Heine. So this girl's actually, I've seen people use her. Especially her skill 3 is on low cooldown, which is really nice. It's like, we had three turns or something crazy like that. But anyway, skill 3 on low cooldown. Skill 1 gives her immunity, which is also nice. But she's just, aside from a few RTA things, and I think the people that were using her last season just de-ruined her this season as well. A lot of them. Third skill, easily countered by a single target strip, like Chilling, who was a Holly Heroes unit. And also, El Sharion, hello. Well, actually, El Sharion doesn't really do anything to her. Because his threat state, if he takes it, it doesn't even matter. Skill 3 easily countered by a single target strip is what I was trying to say, though. Nowhere near as powerful as things like Hathor. Nowhere near as powerful as things like Hathor. Plus, enemy can still buff, heal, AoE, do almost whatever they want to. It's basically just a shield, and it's like a minor inconvenience. Suggestion: rework threat state. Possibly make unstrippable like Lightning Emperor, because Lightning Emperor has a different buff. Limit what skills enemies can use. Something like that. That's really the threat state. Then also, does anything else have threat state? I'm trying to think. Does anything else have threat state? Does one of them else have threat state, or is she the only one? I thought they might have put. I don't know. Maybe it's another light dark. I don't think so though. Anyway, threat state. Maybe we work with threat state and stick it on other units or whatever. But it's just threat state could use a buff in general. It could use the buff. Could use a buff. Do you know what I mean? Anyway, moving on. Does Leica need a buff? Does Leica need a buff? Stun 2019? Am I crazy for thinking that Leica needs a stun again? I might be crazy. I might be crazy. You guys are gonna have to let me know in the comments below. I think Leica's good. I like using Leica on my alt. Like I have him on my China account, and I like him. But I don't know you guys, especially like people building Chilling, people building Water Monkey, Theomars. What else? A lot of people building Garrow, right? A lot of people building Garrow counters, which makes them also Leica counters. So, Stun back 2019. I don't know. What do you guys think? Yes? No? Maybe? Last of all, this is the last. This was not even in the order that I originally intended them. Belenus. So Belenus I think is actually cool. I was looking at his skills again. I know some people, I think I don't know, like, I like the fact that he's got like the multiple buffs, multiple debuffs on skill 3. Still not a ton of people have him, so it's hard to tell. I personally haven't played with him too much, so I kind of want to, this is kind of a gray area for me. I'm like, I think that his activation rate for Provoke needs to be higher. I don't know how much other buffing needs to be done after that, because I think some of these druids are pretty nice, and we just don't have them skilled up yet. Like the light one, people were like, oh, the light one, I don't know what to use him for. Like some people were like, I pulled him, but he's in storage. Is he good? I'm like, the light one's awesome. I love the light one. Like, I am so, like, strip, provoke, glancing hit is nice. I mean, he's not as good as Gianna, right? The light one. But if his provoke rate was higher, that's the thing. Like on all these druids, the ones that I've played with, I'm like, I wish the provoke rate was higher. That's my real main complaint for these. And then the water one, more DPS from the second skill. I think it would be nice to see how it is after this though, if the provoke rate is increased, to see if he's more usable. I still like the, what is it, attack? Oh, it's attack, power break, and defense break too. So I wouldn't mind getting one of these on my account, so I give more of a first-hand impression, as long as it's an account that has Devilmons. Oh, none of the accounts have Devilmons. Right. Anyway, what do you think? Am I completely crazy? Have I lost my mind? I think some of these are, I think some of these a lot of people could agree with, but I think some of the other ones are like, no, Vega, you guys talk about buffing something that doesn't need a buff now. So, anyway, let me know what you think in the comments below. Hope you guys enjoyed it. Remember, with this in between RTA seasons, so we'll see. It's going to be exciting to see what's next. And this is only, of course, this is only normal element Nat 5s. I should have mentioned that before. It's only normal element Nat 5s. Not Nat 4s, not light dark Nat 5s. We could do more videos if you want. Do you want to see light dark ones? Do you want to see Nat 4s that could use buffs? Let me know in the comments below. I hope you guys enjoyed the video. I'll see you as always in the next one.